Since the release of Mychal Kendricks, there's been plenty of debate over who's going to take over his role for the Philadelphia Eagles. Many presume that recently signed Corey Nelson is a favourite to do so, but with names such as Joe Walker and Camu Grugier-Hill in the mix, it would be impossible to write any of them off. This video focuses on the man that not only decided to kick against the Dallas Cowboys, not only blocked punts and kicks and forced fumbles, but led the team in special teams tackles last year. Aside from that though, Camu Grugier-Hill was also an outstanding linebacker when called upon for the Eagles. In those big blowout games like the 50-burger against Denver, Grugier-Hill played up to 25% of defensive snaps and made an outstanding impact in that time, showing his prowess as a coverage linebacker and proving that one day he may be ready to take over that role left behind by Mychal Kendricks. With reports now coming out that he is the leading man in that race at the moment, it was time to take a look at the film to see just how far along in his development that Camu Grugier-Hill really is. My name is Liam Jenkins and this is an episode of Eagles Film Room. GGH do well. Firstly, he plays the game at an alarming speed, not just physically, but mentally as well, and this play against the Broncos is a perfect example of that. By the point the ball is thrown, Grugier-Hill already has planted his back foot and is bursting towards the target, so when the catch is made, the play's dead in the water. And for someone that runs a 4.5 40-yard dash, he plays much faster than that, and we see this trait throughout his play. Here against the Chicago Bears, he picks up Tarik Cohen out of the backfield, blankets the running back and forces Trubisky to throw into dangerous coverage that is then picked off by Rasul Douglas. At face value, this play looks like a magnificent leap by the Eagles cornerback, but if you look at it a bit closer, watch the eyes of the Eagles linebacker here. He never once looks at eye contact with Tarik Cohen. He's focused on Mitchell Trubisky, following his eyes, positioning himself well and forcing the quarterback to throw into a no-fly zone, and that pass gets picked off. His lateral speed is just insane, highlighted by his speed here to get to Andre Ellington and leap over Malcolm Jenkins to secure the tackle, but this may be my second favourite play of Grugier-Hill's this season. Why? Because the amount of hustle it takes to chase down JJ Nelson when he's made the reception and push him into the path of Rodney McLeod to stop a touchdown late in the game, that is just remarkable. That's what you want from a linebacker. People say they want lateral speed, he's got it in abundance, and we see this throughout the season of defensive snaps he was able to gain with the Philadelphia Eagles. Another thing was tackling angles. He makes secure shoulder contact, he's a consistent tackler, his pads always make first contact with the ball carrier, and he very rarely gets sporadic. He doesn't go for the strip straight away, he's patient, he's consistent, and that's everything you could ever ask for in someone that's taken on those more elusive running backs and those tricky wide receivers as well. And this was another play where Grugier-Hill helped influence the incompletion. See here, number 54 lined up in the middle linebacker spot, watch his positioning, he backs out again, eyes fixed on Dak Prescott, who's looking his way, he can't get the route he wants and flings up a prayer, which is then broken up in the back of the end zone. Now, one thing you've got to be as a linebacker is confident in your ability to tackle and to close in on potential targets, making sure that there aren't any areas of the field left exposed because of that decision. Now here we see him leave a tight end crossing over the middle because he knows he's got Corey Graham behind him, and instead he gives Rasul Douglas, who had been victimised in these games a little bit, just a bit of extra help. Now the ball fell incomplete, it was a stray pass anyway, but Grugier-Hill was there to help with the tackle, that second presence just to make sure the receiver falls to the ground. And this was something again we saw time after time. He's always around the ball, he's making conscious efforts to put himself in a position to make a big play. Now he may not have a direct impact, he may not be making all the big hits, but his presence over the middle of the field forced quarterbacks into trouble, and like the play here at other times, to actually scramble out of it. Now Trubisky is looking deep down the field, but Grugier-Hill takes away the check down option and forces the quarterback to scramble. Now sure, did the Eagles give up a big play? Absolutely, but in most other circumstances against a more pocket passer, that would be a big sack for the pass rush. Now look at Grugier-Hill on that right hand side, closing over the check down. Trubisky has to tuck it and run because there are no more viable options. But this was the most impressive play of the season. He had 2 snaps against the Seahawks. One was this. It was 3rd and goal. The Seahawks were in position to score. They only led by a touchdown. He has to cover Jimmy Graham at the back of the end zone. He picks up the running back, sees down the check down, and look at the way he's got his eye on the ball still now, breaks on it and closes out Jimmy Graham at the back corner of the end zone. Whether you noticed this or not, it was arguably Camu Grugier-Hill that kept the Eagles in the game against the Seattle Seahawks because of his spatial awareness. So why hasn't he already got the job? Well, there are still some prominent holes in his game, and press coverage seems to be one of them when working out of the nickel. What happens often is that first step, we often see Grugier-Hill beaten quite badly, giving up a lot of separation, whereas he's able to stick through the stem of the route and then glue to the tight end or wide receiver afterwards. We saw it here, a quick shimmy gets outside, and while the pass didn't go his way, the problem still occurred. Against the Cardinals, he was lined up against Larry Fitzgerald, takes a bit of a push, but sticks to the veteran wide receiver through the route. That's impressive. Against the Cowboys, he didn't have as much luck. Jason Witten pretty much throws him halfway back down the field on a curl. Grugier-Hill is instinctive enough to come back and make sure the play gets blown dead at the point of the catch. But we see there, you can see Grugier-Hill keep his eyes down the field, work his way back to the ball carrier after being beaten. But what about when he's at the line of scrimmage in other areas, like on the defensive line? Here he picks up the running back, drives away the attention from Corey Graham, and opens up a huge play to get a sack or a quarterback pressure. And Mychal Kendricks may have been the blitzing linebacker of the group, but Grugier-Hill's role is much more parting the Red Sea. On what's quite clearly an Ezekiel Elliott run, where the Cowboys outnumber the Eagles on just about every member of the defensive line, he's got a very key role to play here. Watch it a lot more closely, there's a lot more to it than you think. Now Grugier-Hill, number 54, storms down, draws the double team away from Elijah Quells, who meets Ezekiel Elliott head on and brings him down for a tackle for a loss. That would not have been possible without number 54. And we've spoken about his lateral speed. What does that mean when he's at the defensive line? He picks up Dak Prescott on a play action and forces him to make an incomplete pass. A great quarterback pressure. What about on the other side of the defensive line? We've spoken about versatility with this linebacking group. He throws off the running back like it's nobody's business and forces Dak to get rid of the football. As a middle linebacker, he can call the signals, and on this play, can stuff the run. He kind of gets thrown off this play by the offensive lineman, but the point is, when you look at it a bit closer, look at the signals he's giving to Najee Good. He's sitting in the middle, he sees the run coming, and allows Corey Graham once again to make the play. He is just a very intelligent football player, and that may well come from the time he spent with the Patriots, or from his standout career that he had at college. Either way, Camu Grugier-Hill has gone under the radar for way too long, and do not be surprised if this man is your starting will linebacker for the 2018 regular season. Thank you so much for watching this video. I can't believe the last one got over 9,000 views and 159 likes. That blows my mind. If this could get 200 likes, that would probably make my entire week, and I really want to bring some new content for you guys as well. I'm in the midst of putting together a documentary series on the life of an athlete, and also some Q&As and some much more fun stuff with some familiar faces from the world of Philadelphia sports. So if you want to stick around, please hit that subscribe button, show your support, just like the Eagles are doing. Let's all unite together and really build a thriving community here. It has been an honour to bring you this video. If you want to get in contact with me, at LiamJenkins21, I'll see you next week for an episode of Eagles Film Room.